LI News Radio presents Meet the Candidates with Matt Goldapper.
1039 LI News Radio. I'm Matt Goldapper. With me, running for New York State Assembly, John McManmon. How are you?
I'm very well. Great to be with you.
Great. So you are a young guy. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You are running for New York State Assembly. This is your first time running.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about you and why you are the guy for this job.
Well, I'm a young guy. I think it's an asset. I think we need fresh blood in politics in general, and in particular, young people to stand up and get involved in our public life. My name is John McManmon. I'm running for the New York State Assembly. It's a seat on Eastern Long Island. It goes from Mount Sinai out to Orient Point. It's a special election going to be on November 5th, same day as all the town races. I grew up out in Riverhead. I'm very proud to be from Riverhead. It's my hometown. And I grew up exploring the Pine Barrens, fishing in the Sound, swimming in the bay. And I know this is a very special place to live. But what's happened in the last few years, in the last generation, is that it's become a place that's increasingly inhospitable for middle-class people. The cost of living is too high. We lack real quality jobs, and we lack imagination on how to address both problems. Now, the friends I grew up with, the people I love, my family who lived out here, a lot of them have been driven away by the high cost of living. I think we need people in office who focus less on partisanship, less on Republicans versus Democrats, as if it's a game, as if it's Red Sox versus Yankees, as if you go up to Albany to represent a team, to be a part of a team. Instead, we need people who go to represent their district, who focus on real issues that affect people's everyday lives, and primarily on Eastern Long Island in our time, in our generation. That's the high cost of living. We need people who focus on that like a laser, and that's really why I'm running.
So what do you do, though? Everyone says there's high cost of living. What are some plans that you have in action to kind of help either reduce those costs for the people?
Well, we put out a plan that specifically addresses the high cost of living here on Long Island. People who are voting in this district will see it in their mailbox. But we have to be creative. That means building the tax base on the business side with responsible development in our downtowns, at the EPCAL property in Riverhead. We have to be aggressive about building public-private partnerships when we have a highly educated population, great research institutions, great education institutions, but we don't attract high-quality employers. So we have to really think bigger about growing our business tax base with development at EPCAL, development downtowns, development of 21st century high-tech green jobs. We can do that. On the flip side, we have to do more to hold the line on the cost of living. Principally here on Long Island, we have what's a crisis level of property tax burden on people to try to make that $7,000, $8,000, $12,000 payment on a home that middle-class families own. So there's a couple ways we can do that. Primarily, we have to get our fair share of state aid from Albany. We send much more tax dollars up there than we get back down.
And
Absolutely.
Why is that? What has happened in the past years that your district or our area hasn't gotten its fair share of money? Where has the ball been dropped?
Well, it's in a couple places. Primarily education. The education formula is broken. It doesn't address the factors out here on Long Island that overburden us, where we are land rich and cash poor. So we pay more than our fair share. Also, with programs like STAR, for instance, it doesn't account for the higher cost of living here. So folks in Buffalo who get back the same check have more in terms of real dollars. So it impacts people, particularly seniors living on a fixed income.
So essentially they're redistributing the wealth not fairly, because we do have higher cost of living down here than there would be upstate. So you would try to make an initiative to make that comparable for those areas?
Yes, and it's not about anything but getting the amount that's equitable. Beyond that, look, there's the MTA tax that's mostly been repealed. There's still 20% there on sub businesses. We should totally repeal that. It's taxation without transportation, especially on Eastern Long Island where people don't use that. We shouldn't have to pay for New York City's problems out here.
Right.
So I think there are realistic, specific, and achievable ways we can reduce the cost of living. That can be done in the next term in Albany, and we've set about outlining exactly how we can do that. Politics should be a conversation about ideas, and people who run should have specific plans about how to implement them. That's the sort of substantive campaign we've tried to run.
Great. And tell me a little bit about open space. Out east, there's a lot of farming, there's a lot of natural wildlife. How would you plan to preserve the open space out there?
Well, I think there's two aspects of that. There's actual wilderness space, which we have to set aside, and there's the promotion of agriculture. I grew up in Riverhead. It's a great place. The vineyard industry, the farm-to-table food movement has created this great moment where agriculture is really viable on Long Island. Suffolk County is the largest agriculturally producing county in the state. Most people don't realize that. And if I went to Albany, I would be an advocate for the farming community. I'd want to sit on the Agriculture and Markets Committee. I think it's a natural fit. I think it's a place you can make an immediate difference coming from Eastern Long Island. And I want to make sure that we keep our community beautiful. I mean, that is how we preserve its character and make sure it's an economically vital place.
Great. So I'm going to bring this up real quick for you. So you and your opponent, you're both attorneys.
Sure.
What makes you the better candidate for this job?
Well, I have experience in the private sector. I practiced at a diverse business practice where I'd represent business clients. So I can write a budget, I can look at a budget, I can read a contract, I can read a piece of legislation, know what's there, I can sit at a negotiating table. I've sat at a negotiating table with some of the toughest characters in the state and done quite well. Beyond that, I had a pro bono practice where I'd represent children with autism. I'm very, very proud of that. We need to do more to build an inclusive society, make sure we take care of everyone, make sure that people get the appropriate attention and time they deserve. And in our education system, some of the special education kids fall through the cracks. So when families needed someone to stand up, I was there, I did it. And beyond that, we need folks in public life who are going to shake things up a little bit, who are going to move beyond the partisan gridlock that we see in Albany, that we see in Washington, D.C. with the as we tape this, the federal government is still shut down, and move beyond this dysfunction, focus less on party, more on results, more on ideas. People today in politics, they govern by crisis and they campaign with division. I won't do either. I'll go up, I'll try to build alliances across party lines, try to get results for my district, and when I campaign, I'm going to do it substantively, I'm going to do it on ideas, and I'm going to make a case that I can make a little bit of a difference on the cost of living, on the creation of quality jobs, and make a real difference in the lives of my friends and neighbors.
Right, and as a younger guy with not a big land of political background, do you believe that you could really make a difference up in Albany? Everyone knows it's plagued with corruption and scandal. Do you have any kind of plans to deal with any of that when you go up to Albany?
Sure, I would support legislation that increases the penalty for corruption. I think it has no place in public life. Public service should be a noble undertaking. It should be a thing that people do to try to make their communities better. That's why I'm getting involved, and I have zero tolerance for people who see otherwise.
Great. Election day, where do people find you on the ballot?
They'll find me on the Democrat line, the Working Family line, also the Independence Party line. I'm really proud of that. I'm sure folks know the Independence Party, they nominate folks who are open-minded, independent-minded, and willing to work across party lines to bring real results to real people in the middle class, people trying to make their way into the middle class. That's my focus. That's why I'm proud to be in the Independence Party line, and I hope that's why you vote for me on Election Day. It's November 5th, same day as all the town races. Stole the words out of your mouth.
There you go.
But thank you so much for this opportunity.
Perfect.
I really appreciate it.
New York State Assembly, John McManmon. It's 1039 LI News Radio.